Welcome back, everyone, to Light Talk with Dana. But we welcome everybody and anyone and everyone to be themselves and tell their own unique supernatural and paranormal experiences. If you have a story that you would like to share, email me at lighttalk423@gmail.com. And while you're at it, click on the like, share, and subscribe buttons. I think you guys are going to really enjoy our guest today. She's fantastic. She's got some exciting things to talk about in her journey. So we're going to kick right in. So go ahead and introduce yourself and let's start going. And welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks, Dana. Hi, I'm Brenda Doe, and I am by trade, I am a copywriter. So I spend my days writing business to business articles and sales material for tech companies. So it's something that surprisingly you wouldn't think, but I actually channel a lot of my information as I'm writing because it's based off of a lot of research, based off of a lot of fact. But what happens is because I'm writing and I'm trying to talk to another audience that I'm not necessarily familiar with, because they're not my personal type of audience, it's a business audience. I have to get into their heads and I have to be able to figure out, okay, what would they want to hear? What makes them tick? How can I show up authentically and also be um, and also have integrity too with the company and also what I'm the material and information that I'm sharing. And the best way for me to do that is one, to do a lot of research so I know what I'm talking about. Then the second is just to sit back and let the information come through, and because we channel all the time, we just don't realize it. And when we're channeling, that's when everything just flows and we feel like we're in our hearts and we're in our happy places, and we say the things that people say to us, oh my gosh, I needed to hear that. Have you ever been in a conversation where you had that happen to you, and someone's going, oh, I'm so glad you said that. I needed that. Or when you just walk by somebody and they look like they can just use a hello or a hug or a tap on the shoulder, and then they just go, oh, I just needed that. Thank you so much. That's you channeling, right? And we do it all the time. It's just we don't think we are. Because we're so busy being in our heads all the time that we overthink things instead of letting it flow. So, in a nutshell, that's what I do. And recently, I wrote a children's book, completely opposite of what I do for my day job. So I wrote a children's book that I feel I channeled as well. Because when people see it or they hear it, they always go, oh my gosh, that's something I needed to hear. So that always makes you feel like you're in the right situation when that happens and you're in the right place. So, anyway, that's my big old long intro.
That is perfectly all good. I love it. And, it just, I resonate so much with that because, especially recently, I find more and more times where it's like, oh man, yeah, you hit it right on the nail. Or, yeah, you know, and I feel like it is being channeled. So, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I've had stories, I guess, in the past where, it's channeling saying, hey, go hug this lady. I'm like, forget that. And I do. And they're like, oh, thank you so much. I really needed that. And so, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it
Awesome
is.
stuff.
And I'm glad that
So,
you actually have the courage to do it because a lot of times, our 3D world and our 3D minds, we all worry going, well, if I just walk up to this stranger, they're going to think I'm a whack job, and but when we just allow ourselves to just be human and we trust in our channel, that's the biggest thing is trusting. And
yeah,
then when we go walk over to that person, they're happier than all get out that we actually talked to them because they needed it. Right. So
yeah,
they're not judging us, we're judging ourselves. That's the difference. When we judge ourselves, then we limit our potential of how we can connect with each other.
yeah, yeah. I see that. I see that. And it did. We fought a little bit. That voice in I is like, I'm not doing that. I don't know this person, but I finally
Hmm.
did it. And yeah, it was joy for me too. Not only this
Yes.
person, but joy for me.
And that's the key, is because it's all, as Dee Wallace, the actress and channel says, she just goes, she coined a word, resigive. because you're receiving and you're
Good.
giving, and it's a constant cycle. And that's how we interact in the world. It's a constant cycle because you know when it's unbalanced, when you're in a relationship where you're doing all the giving, and then, and or you're doing all the receiving, right? There's an imbalance there. So when you can receive and give, and part of receiving is loving yourself enough to receive the gifts of the world as well as give, then we are in balance and the whole world is rises up together in our vibration.
Right, right. Yeah. So what brought you into this world? How did you find yourself here?
It's interesting because I think we all come into this world extremely aware, but well-meaning adults sort of just like squish it out of us. When you're a little kid and you see something, but of course, and then the adults didn't see it, right? They're going, "Oh, you didn't see anything; it was in your imagination." So we start doubting ourselves and we start shutting that
Yeah.
part of ourselves down. But we come into this world so hyper aware. There's no veil between the other side and us. We're all together. And then so I came in, just like everyone else, being aware. Uh, and I was also so for the people who are listening who can't see me. So I'm Chinese descent. And when I grew up, our family was like we're the only ethnic family in the entire neighborhood. So, and it was during a time in an area of the country that was very racist still. So I had to feel my way around crowds just to see if I was safe. And I didn't realize I was consciously doing that. That was just my way of getting through the world when I was a little kid because I didn't have the words for it. I just knew if I go into this room, how does it feel? Or is this person safe for me to be around and all that kind of stuff. So I was very open energetically to what was going on and to feeling the vibrations around me. As I got older and I got really left-brained and everything had to be it's got to be proof, it's got to be logic, it has to be all this stuff that we are taught, right? I went
Right.
all the way to the other side, and I started to get way too linear, way too rigid. And then it just became like your soul will tell you when it's not comfortable, when it decides, okay, that's enough of that. It's time for us to be our true selves. So around my 30s, I started opening up some more. Didn't realize I was doing it. I just started to notice things again. I started to feel things differently again. I started to really
Mhm.
think with my heart instead of my brain. And then I started meeting people who were more into energy work. Because, when you're open, you start pulling them in, you start attracting them, just like you're doing with your podcast. You're more open, so you're attracting all the people who are like-minded, who want to be with you, right? Who want to share with you, who also think similarly. And then so I started to pulling those kind of people in, and I started to think, what resonates with me? And then the more I got curious, the more I was energetically signaling out to the universe, okay, bring me more, because I'm ready. And so it kept doing so. And then if finally I woke up and realized, oh, wait a minute, there's a pattern here. And this feels better to me, being more energetically aware, learning how to work with energy, learning how to create consciously, doing all those kinds of things. Um, and even at work, being open energetically is very helpful too. Because during a meeting, I can tell when someone's lying to me unless they're really good at faking their energy, and some people are, but I can really so and it helps, when I can say, yeah, someone's holding something back, or someone's uncomfortable but they're not admitting it, or something like that. So then I can start asking more questions and starting to figure things out some more. So that's how I got into it. And we're all works in progress because we're always forever expanding. Not that there's anywhere to get to. It's more because it feels so good to be where we are and we know we can feel even better. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and see what we're capable of. Let's go ahead and see how much happiness we can bring into the world. Let's see how much wealth and health we can also pull into our own lives. Let's just see, right? Because there's no harm in seeing. So that's where the energy comes in. That's where we keep expanding. And that's where it's like, until my last breath, I'm going to keep on doing so because it
Yeah.
just feels good.
It feels really good. I'm feeling more and more. I mean, each week goes by, I feel even more different. So, and I was watching a podcast today, and it was just like nailing me all left and right. It's like the 7 steps of awakening. And it's like, oh, yeah, I resonate with that. I get that. I get that, and it's like, I think I am finally awoken.
Yeah.
I'm awake. You know?
Woohoo! So what took you down that path then to wake so that you woke up some more?
To be, I don't know. I was at work one day and I was in the break room, and there was our HR lady sitting in there, and she's talking about going on a ghost hunt and all of this on vacation. And I'm like, okay. And so I started talking to her about it, and she goes, oh, you got to meet up with Shane. And I'm like, who's Shane? And she pointed him out. And so I went up to him and I'm like, hey, I hear you're a psychic and all of this. And it's like, tell me more. And he did. He sat down with me, and he introduced himself. He's Shane Smith, the lightning psychic. So there you go, Shane. A little niche in there for you. And he's like, started kind of like just helping me through this. And next thing I know, I'm like seeing this and that a lot more, and all kinds of stuff that's happening. And so I just fell into that huge old web, and I'm still clawing my way around in it because it's like there's just so much going. And now I have the podcast going, and I'm just feeling so exuberated. I'm just so excited about everything. Each guest that comes on, I'm just even more and more excited about this. And going into my card reads and stuff, I'm just so excited about it. I mean, it's like I finally found my love. I finally found my purpose. This is I'm speechless. I'm just so excited about it. Yeah. So there I am.
Yeah, it's
There's
just
me in a
joy.
nutshell. Yeah. I
How awesome is that to be in joy? And it didn't
it's
cost us
speechless.
anything.
No, no, well, yeah, no. but yeah, I mean, it's just there's no words for it. I'm just so excited. I'd love to hear everyone's stories, and I love to talk about my stories. And now, with the reads and all, I'm so excited to help people out with that, and to just throw it out there and to use my skills that I'm now know I have, and
Hmm.
to enrich in them and to expand. And
And what's fun I've found is when you start opening up your skills, then you start opening up possibilities for new skills too. Because we all are so multifaceted. Generally, from my understanding, we have certain strengths. Some people are more hands-on healers, some people are mediums, so they can talk with people who've crossed over. You know, but then there are other ones who, yeah, I've got like my one strength and this is dominant. However, as I develop this one strength, like for you, your readings, then you might open up too to start channeling the other side. You just don't know, right?
that's
And
my goal.
so, yeah, see? And when you're ready, you're going to pull in the people who are going to help you develop that skill. And then so because it is inherent in you, it's part of you. So there's no reason why you can't do it. And everyone's got so many different modalities out there, and not everything resonates with everybody, and that's okay. Part of our journey is figuring out what feels good for me at this time. And so I'm going to explore that more. And then later on, when more comes in and it's new, I might go, oh, what's over here? What's over there? And it's fun. It is so crazy fun
Yeah.
because we learn
Yeah.
about ourselves during the whole process. We learn all about all the limitations that we put upon ourselves that we took
Yeah.
on as children unknowingly. And then we took it on as adults and we kept it as, this is how I see the world. This is how I see me in the world. This is how I see the world seeing me. And then we start realizing, wow, that was all a bunch of crap. Because really, we're amazing. We're limitless. We're forever expanding. The world only sees us as less than that because we see ourselves as less. So once we realize how amazing we are and how expansive we are, how limitless we are, then the world starts to support us too. When we see the
Yeah.
world supporting us, oh heck yeah, it's going to. It'll show up.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so it's so
It's
fun.
growing. It's growing
Yeah.
and I'm just enjoying it. It's oh,
And it
so much.
shows. It shows in your vibration of your voice. It shows in your face. It shows, right? And people walk up to you and they're going to go, I want some of that. What is going on in Dana's life that is making her so happy? That is filling her with so much genuine joy, where she is giving during these readings and she's coming from a heart-centered place that I can trust, where she feels authentic. It's like, what makes Dana do that? I want some of that.
Yeah, and some of it is changing. I have a friend that I've known since high school, and she's seen a big difference in me the last couple of years. And yeah, I feel the difference, especially within the last few months. It's just been a huge change in me. I feel like a whole different person just in the last few months.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I can totally relate to that. People who didn't know me when I was like probably like I would say 15 years ago, 20 years ago,
Mhm.
they would not. They would be really surprised because the old me, I call this version Brenda 2.0, because the old version of me was so bitter and angry all the time, super judgy. I mean, everything made me mad. People were too stupid, too slow, too whatever, and I was always just upset with myself. I was upset with the world. But people didn't totally see that completely. It's how I felt inside because I had to keep a lot of that inside because it would be very difficult to work with me when all I do was complain. But in my head, I complained a lot.
Trust
And so, yeah, you're just like, back off. But
right.
then all of a sudden I realized, wow, this is a really crappy way to exist. It really is.
It
And
is.
it is not how I want to live the world. And
Mhm.
then so that's when I realized, and this was about when I was in my mid 30s, that something's got to change. And that's about the time when I was awakening. I just didn't realize what that something was. I just knew I was not happy the way I was and something needed to change. So then I opened my heart up, and I just like, okay, I'm ready for a solution. Whatever it happens to be, I'm ready. And
Yeah.
then that's when everything started coming in. And then
Yeah.
now, when my vibration starts to dip, I mean, because, we're in the 3D world. We're going to have crap days. We're going to have frustration. We're going to get angry. We're going to get sad. We're going to get hurt. We're going to get disappointed. We'll get all that stuff. And that's all part of being alive and being human in our, what
Right.
I call our flesh bags, And so I figured, okay, we have those moments. We have
Yeah.
moments when we kind of, play a little pity party. That's
Right.
fine as long as we're consciously aware when we do it. So when I get into those moods where I'm just like, okay, I'm getting really angry, I'm feeling very impatient, and I got to step back. And that's when I say, Brenda, is this what you want to do the rest of today? Is this how you want to show up in this world? Is this how you want to show up to this meeting? And I just need to talk myself down. And that's when I go, no, yeah, this sucks. I don't like it anymore. So
Yeah.
what do? I turn it around. It doesn't matter what it happens to be. I can run around dancing around the house. I could grab one of my favorite stuffed toys and just hug the crap out of it. I can do whatever it is to suddenly
Yeah.
change my mood and make me happy. And that's all it is. Because you cannot be like in hatred or anger at the same time that you're in love and joy. So you have a
Right.
choice what you choose. So I choose love and joy. So when I start feeling that dip in the vibration, because when you're vibrating as high as you are right now, it's like the contrast feels even more extreme, right?
Yeah.
And we won't let ourselves stay there because we know that's not what's going to create the world that we want.
Yeah. I'm working on it. I mean, that is a tough one still for me. Um, but yeah, I'm working on it. I kind of did a little bit of that. I think people at work think I'm bipolar
No.
right now. So I'm like up and down all day long. And it's like, it's because I'm trying to raise it and then I just get like slammed down, it feels like. So I try to raise it and, it's just, it's a roller coaster. So I'm sure there's people that think I'm like so wild.
Well, the good thing is you are surrounding yourself with people who hold you accountable. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's kind of funny because I don't think like my partner Dan, I don't think he's listening because he's not into what he calls the woo work, which he calls what we're doing, right? He goes, "Well,
Right.
that's your thing." I was like,
Yeah.
which is fine. He's just not there. What I love about him is that he supports me, even though it's not his thing.
Amen.
However, though, every so often, right when I don't think he's paying attention, he tells me what I need to hear. So when I'm starting to spiral a little bit and I'm starting to go the old Brenda 1.0 ways, he'll go, "Is that the vibration you want?" He'll just ask that.
Yeah.
He might not understand he's saying what he's saying, but he'll say that. And I was like, wait a minute, are you doing me to me? It's like, that's not allowed. So, but then he does that. And I'm like, okay, he held me accountable and he channeled it because his higher self told him to say it to my higher self. And needed to hear that. Right.
And he's feeling
So,
it too.
yeah,
He
that's
feels
true.
it.
That is true. Because when we start going lower in vibration, it gets intense because we
Mhm.
emanate. So it is very strong. And
Yes, me
people who
too.
are, yeah. And if they're not aware, people aren't aware who are around us, they just know, ew, she just feels icky. I don't understand what's going on, but I'm very uncomfortable, right, around her. And then
Mhm.
so anyway, when you're going through your ups and downs, as you continue to bring people into your world and people who are like-minded, we start creating that. And that's that network that we need to help uplift us when we need a little uplifting. I mean, in the
Yeah,
end, it's our responsibility because no one can think a thought for us. It's just
yeah,
us, right? And
yeah.
you're creating tools now and loving support to help you get through all of those. So, I mean, someone I know, she dances around the house naked when she's in a bad mood because she goes, "You cannot start feeling bad, keep feeling bad when you're dancing around naked." There is just something that just switches in you.
It's like, and that alone, just saying that, it makes you laugh because it's like
Yeah.
it's so natural and it's so beautiful and it's being your authentic and it's just so much into it and it's just a scene that you picture in your head too. So
Exactly. And it's just fun because we need to be more playful in our lives because
yeah,
we get so serious adulting all day, right?
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
right
we
before
do.
this call, I spent like 9 straight hours just heavily focused on work, and my brain was so fried from it. I was thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to have the energy to be on a call? You know, and so I
Right.
have to just let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just like, no, I'm tired of adulting. Now it's my fun time. Now it's
Yes.
time for me to just go ahead and share with a light-minded, open heart like you are. So I'm just like, heck yeah, okay, this is a good way to wrap up.
Yep. I loved how get to end my days because I end it with things like this. And I'm either talking with somebody or connecting with somebody or looking for someone. My head is in the light.
Mhm,
And that's how I get to end my day.
mhm. Yeah. And so then our trick is what we start learning is how to stay in that light
Mm.
as much as possible all day long. Because the more we do, the more the world shows up to support us and says, okay, I'm going to give her more to love, more happiness, more joy, more to smile about, right? And more people that she can start resonating with and help as well so they can learn to smile and love more as well.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Yeah.
got it. You got it. I do a lot of listening to podcasts and stuff. Or even sometimes I'll just put on some sort of um, instrumental meditations, just listening to that just so I was like, okay, you know, I step aside. something different. And so I'm getting better at picking up on my signs and I'm getting better with that. So it's helpful. It is
Yeah,
helpful. Yeah.
good on you. Because most people aren't as conscious as you are.
I'm
They
working
just
on
go
it.
through the world thinking the world is happening to them, but they don't realize they're a part of it. They
Yeah.
don't realize that they're unconsciously creating all the misery. It's like we hear it, people talk about it all the time when someone says, "Oh, I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop," or "Yeah, well, it's good now, but something's gonna happen." They're always waiting for that thing to happen, right? And guess what they create? Exactly
So
what they didn't want because that's what they're focused on.
right.
Or because they just don't trust love because they believe on some level that it's going to be taken away or it doesn't show up fully for them or something, something, something. That there's
Right.
some kind of belief over there. And then so they don't realize that they keep creating their own misery.
Yeah.
I was talking to a fellow entrepreneur a while back, and he called me up one day and he just goes, "Brenda, oh my gosh, something just happened at work, and I think that I might get sued." And I was like, "Okay, well, what do you want?" "Well, I don't want to get sued because I'll lose my business. I'll lose this and that." I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, well, what do you want?" "Well, oh, I don't want, him to start putting bad things on social media about me." I was like, "Okay, what do you want?" And we went through this 7 times of me asking, "What do you want?" All he knew how to tell me is what he didn't want, all of his fears. Right. And that's how we're
Mhm.
programmed. Most of us are taught to always focus on what we don't want. And guess what we create? What we don't want. We're
Yeah.
all awesome creators. We just don't realize what we're doing, you know?
Yep.
So it
Yep.
took a
Yep.
while when I finally realized after like 7, "What do you want?" And he still didn't get it. I finally just stopped him. And I go, "This is what you want. You want an easy resolution to this. You want blah, 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 blah." And I just listed it just so easily. It's the positive of what he wants. And then he just went, "Oh, yeah, I guess yeah, that's what I want." I was like,
Yeah, that
"Okay, let's
makes
meet
more
him in the end."
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then so that's part of our training as we start awakening is to learn how to be so conscious with how we create, is to focus on the happy, to focus on what we want, to focus on the positive outcomes and to really feel it. There aren't mantras. We're directing our energy. And in order to direct it, we have to really, really feel it. We got to feel the love
Yeah.
around it. We have to also feel that the universe is going to deliver it. Because if we're
Yeah.
sending out the
Mhm.
energy that, yeah, I'm going to ask for this, but I don't think it's really going to show up. If you do
Right.
that, the universe is going to go, "Well, if you don't think it's going to show up, I have to match that energy, so I won't deliver it."
Right. Right. You don't
Yeah.
believe me? Then why
Okay.
should I do it? It's like you don't trust me, then
Well, energy's funny. It's not good or bad, it's neutral. It's not judging saying, "Well, if you don't
that's true.
trust me, I'm not going to deliver it." It's more you're vibrating distrust, so I have to vibrate back distrust.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what
There
it
you
is,
go.
just matching, right?
Yeah.
So it's not trying to hurt us. It's
No.
just saying, "I'm just matching your vibration. That's all I can do." So that's why it's so important for us to be so conscious of what we're vibrating.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And you brought up some good points for me. So thank you for a lesson that I needed to hear. So
Oh,
tomorrow is another lesson to work on. So thank you.
we get a chance to keep playing with our knowledge, right? And playing with our observations. Because I mean, I grew up in a very judgmental household. So I've always believed that when we're very judgy of others, it's because we're so busy judging ourselves. The people who are the most judgmental that I've found are the ones who are the most insecure. And that's why they have to be that way, because like attracts like. And then so I went, all right, so I have to constantly calm myself down enough to be aware where I'm going, "Okay, I'm judging myself, like, well, you didn't do this fast enough, or you didn't get enough done
Right.
today, or blah blah, whatever."
Right.
I'm just like, no, I gotta start playing because like I'm a copywriter by trade. no one ever died because I didn't make deadline, right?
Yeah.
Now, generally speaking, I always make deadline. However,
Right.
it's not, or because my headline didn't rock the world. I mean, the worst case happens, which is a bad thing. I don't get hired again by that client, but it's okay. No one's going to die. The world's not
Yep.
going to suddenly end. So I figured I got to keep everything in perspective. And then so I need to learn to play war because we as adults, we tend to work at things and make it so hard instead of just playing and allowing. Allowing is like the biggest word for me this year is to learn and go, okay, universe, you know what I want. I've asked a million times. I am sending so much out there vibrationally. You know what to match. Now I need to just step aside, get out of the way, trust you're going to deliver, and
Hmm.
allow it in.
Yeah.
And as somebody, she's a great channel herself, Nadia Angelini. She used to always say, "Well, what are you going to allow more today? I'm going to allow more love in my life. I'm going to allow more happiness. I'm going to allow more money to flow in. I'm going to allow, allow, allow." So it feels so different and so much easier than, oh, well, I'm going to work at it and make it happen. Or I'm going to make sure I, meditate for 2 hours a day and say this mantra 40 times and, spin around
Yeah.
the room 15 times, counterclockwise and whatever. I was like, oh my gosh, it's not that hard. Just get out of the way. Allow.
Allow. Allow. There's another phrase for me now. Allow.
Yeah.
Allow. I like
Allow.
that.
It's like, I'm just going to let go. I'm going to let it flow.
Yeah.
And that is it. Because we have to know that we've already set the intent. We've already created what we want. We've already set the vibration of what we want. We've asked the
Hmm.
universe. Now we just got to let go and let it flow in.
Yeah. Yeah. That's I love it. I'm like focused on that right now. Allow. Allow. See myself allowing that, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens in the funniest ways because, okay, I was running to catch a bus to go. I live in Washington, and I was catching a bus to go to Oregon. And I misjudged everything about my timing,
No.
which is unusual for me because I'm really anal about that. So, and then so anyway, I misjudged everything, and I realized, oh my gosh, by the time I get through this, and this, I'm going to be 15 minutes late for the bus. The bus will have left. And I was running through an airport with my husband, and I told him. He goes, "We're not gonna make it. We're not gonna make it." And I just said, "Okay, no, I've already asked the universe. Don't worry about it." I was like, "The bus will be there. The bus will be there." He goes, "How is the bus gonna be there?" He's freaking out. I was like, "I don't know, but keep running because it's not gonna wait forever."
Right, right,
But
right.
but I just says it's not for us to decide how it's going to happen. We
Hmm.
just need to know that we've asked and it will be delivered. That's you just got to trust. So so we're bucking it through the airport and we get to the bus and the driver looked up and goes, "I had a feeling I needed to wait for someone. All right, you two get on board. It's time for us to go."
See?
I know.
See?
15 minutes late. She held the bus 15 minutes. And I was
Oh,
thinking,
wow.
oh my gosh. Yeah. So that's when, Dan, one of those many times when he just goes, okay, yeah, that works. The woo woo works.
I am so privileged to have my husband witness a few things now with me.
Mm,
He's actually witnessed things, and it helps him to know that it's there, but he's still kind of on this like, well, the scientific side is here, but I don't understand how we just talked to a fairy. I don't understand how we saw this in the video, but I just don't know about it.
yeah.
It's like he's still trying to learn the scientific side of it.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, keep trying because there's no real total scientific side of this.
Well, there's a lot of brain science
They're getting
about,
there. They're
yeah,
getting
there's a
there.
lot
Yeah.
about golly, what is that book? I have it on my shelf here somewhere, but I'm forgetting what it's called. But it's something about um oh, I have to look it up. But anyway, it's all about brain science and talking about how your and all the measurements and everything else and how they've linked that you can think your way through into creation, right? Because we're all just giant energy balls, and
Right.
energy is energy, so energy is going to pull in energy, and so it's just how it is. It's just like gravity, things fall here
Yeah.
on earth, right? It's just the
Right.
way
Right.
the law works. And then so brain science works similarly. So when we are really understanding how to play with energy to create, and then we're able to create on massive levels. Because, it's like, are you familiar with Abraham Hicks?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
I remember a long time ago, I heard a quote saying it takes as much energy to create a penny as it is a castle. So I'm thinking, well, why would I mess my time creating a penny when I can create a castle, right? And the only
Right.
reason why people don't see more castles is because we don't think we can do it. There's something going on in our little girl or a little boy inside who's still holding the belief of, oh, I can't do that, or I'm not enough, or I'm not powerful enough, or I'm not safe to do it. It's something that we were taught. So we need to get all of us in alignment. We need to get our little girls and our little boys in alignment and talk to them and say, it's okay. We know better now. It's safe.
We got
It's
this.
okay. Yeah, let's play together. It
Hmm.
might take us several conversations because they are really, really scared a lot of times,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they're not trying to hurt us. They're trying to keep us safe by pulling us back. So now we
Right.
just need to basically re-educate them and help them understand we get it now. This is when we shine. It's finally time to shine. And when we do, it's going
Yes.
to be safe. It's going to be full of joy and it's going to be
Yes.
so fun.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Yeah.
Lots of yeses on that one. Oh, I get it. Yeah. It's that inner child that we have to work with now and not against. And that was just part of my learnings too in this journey is we we have to know that we do have a way of spending our time in our life and we have our own thoughts and we have our own abilities and no one should be telling us any different on that.
Hmm.
And it was kind of a tough thing to understand, but once I went through that situation, it really hit. It's like that's what's been bothering me all my life.
Mm.
So you finally just kind of let loose, and it's like, yeah, that felt good.
Yeah, exactly.
Now
And
people will might listen to me now, it's like, uh, so yeah.
and you congratulations on you for doing that too, because a lot of times people run away from the discomfort. Even though where we are is so uncomfortable, at least it's familiar. So it's familiar discomfort. And gosh, so I see there's a wound over here. There's something I need to face, but I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. But as you learned, once you go there and you face it and you move through it, it was not only so liberating, but it was actually a lot easier than you thought. So that's why when I get triggered by something, I'm
Mhm.
like, "Ooh, there's a wounding somewhere deep down that I need to heal." Okay, so then I'll sit quietly and I'll meditate on it and I'll try to see if I can figure it out myself. And when I do, I'm like, "All right, just plow right through." Because I want this healed because I know how much better it feels on the other side. And then the more we do it, the faster we heal, and it gets faster and faster and faster, and it is so much. I mean, you feel so much lighter. You're thinking, why would I want to keep those wounds or those heavy,
Yeah,
burdens around? It's
right.
like wearing a really thick heavy wool coat when it's 100 degrees outside and you're like, I don't know why I'm so hot. I was like, all right, just take the coat off, just take it off.
Yeah, and it's just, and that's part of the inner child learnings and this the shadow work is trying to find what that is hurting.
Hmm.
What is it that is holding us back? What is it that we need to do to heal from that? And what I find, this is how I've been finding it is I just end up doing it. It's like I'm being guided, I'm going to say
Hmm.
that it's done. It's done. It's over with. I'm not going to do this anymore. And so, yeah, well, I kind of have my military voice coming out here. But I'm speaking me. I'm
Hmm.
speaking me now. And it may not be the best way right now, but it's what I need to do now.
Good for you. Yeah. And look who you're attracting. You're attracting people who want to listen, who want to
Yeah.
share with you, who want to hear your
Yeah.
story as well, and who we all learn together.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah, you keep
yeah,
speaking you.
thank you. And I hear that. And like we're saying, is there's been several times where I've actually thought, do I really want to do this podcast anymore? Do I really want to do this? And somebody will say, just like what you just said, no, this is fantastic what you're doing. And this is, people need to hear this. And it's like, I need to do this. This is really what I need to do. And
Hmm. Yeah,
yeah,
and we don't know because everything, I mean, we're forever changing because as you know, in
absolutely.
nature, nothing ever stays still. So maybe you do this podcast for a few more months, a few more years, whatever. You'll
Right.
know when it's time to move on to something else. It's not like
Yeah.
we're tied to this one thing the rest of our lives.
No,
Yeah,
no.
see?
And yeah, it's just been fun, and
Yeah.
it's like I really do like enjoy I really do enjoy doing this. So I need to stay with it.
Hmm.
And it's not just enjoyment for me, it's helping others. And that's what it's about.
Yeah. And we all heal together. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just like people who do body work. Like for example, I know Reiki. And when I was learning Reiki, the Reiki master would always say, "Hey, every time you give someone Reiki, you're healing yourself as well." And I
Hmm.
didn't quite understand that because I'm like, I'm the one giving. I don't understand this. How
Right,
it goes
right.
back and forth.
Yeah.
And then I started to figure it out. And so there are many times where I'll be having a session and then I'm like, oh, well, that was interesting. I didn't think I needed that. I might hear something or might,
Hmm.
channel something, or the energy flows differently, to through me to them, and so it's just like that's really cool. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's always that resonative. It's not one-sided.
No, no. And it's so cool to get that feel though, right? It's so cool to like, oh, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I just got slapped in the head, but I got it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now it's like, oh, it feels so good.
Oh
Wow,
yeah.
another chip off my shoulder. Nice.
Yeah, it's all smoothed out. I was like, oh, that feels good.
Oh, my shoulder feels lighter now. How nice.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It is
Yeah,
so
totally.
awesome.
And so when you're doing your
Yeah.
readings, I'm sure you've had situations then when you're doing a reading and someone looked at you and they went, oh. And you help them have that aha moment. That's powerful. It is
Yeah.
so powerful.
Yeah. I had one. I know you're running short on time here, so we'll kind of get closing up here. Yeah, I had one reading that I did a photo read, and the person went to her friend and asked about her mom that had passed and all. And she goes, girl, you need to run from that lady because she's scary. It's because
You were so
I
accurate.
saw things. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was so accurate on it, and she's like, "You need to run away from that person." I love it.
And you're
That was
like,
scary.
okay. Whereas we were going, oh, that was cool.
I know.
Let's
It's
talk
like
to her again.
score. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
And that's the difference. Fear does so much to limit us. And and a lot of times we run away from what we don't understand. But through this work, as we start to realize what's on the other side, and we do more of that healing, and we do more of that working through the pain and all other kind of stuff, then we realize that anytime we feel a little bit of fear, a lot of times it's because we're on the cusp of figuring something out that's big, that's going to help free us. So we run towards it a lot of times. Now we know good fear versus bad fear. Like we wouldn't walk down a really dark, scary alley naked at night by ourselves. I mean,
Right.
that's an honest fear.
That's not
Yeah.
something you want to do. No.
No. But then there are other times where I'm like, oh, this is giving me anxiety, or this is making me feel a little, a little weird, but I just know I need to go through it. That's a good fear, right? And that's the kind when we feel even more powerful when we come out through the other side. So it's just, oh, I love the liberation that comes from it.
It's awesome, isn't it? I'm just so enjoying this. So much to learn. And I haven't even started. And that's an exciting thing for me. I haven't even started with this yet.
Oh no, you have started. This is
No,
just part of the
started.
process.
Yeah, it's
You've way started.
I but there's so much more to go through. There's so much more to learn. There's so much more to experience.
Mm.
There's just so much more that I'm so excited to get started and learn that side of it. But I know I need to take my time.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what?
All the
It all
time.
comes when it comes,
I
because
know.
we're all like, okay, I can take more, I can take less, I need a break, or whatever it happens to be. But you are, both our feet are already in there. You've more than started. You are running the marathon right now,
I
and
am.
you're doing an awesome job,
Oh,
and
thank you.
it's just, I mean, the fact that you have the courage to have a podcast, that you're allowing yourself to be heard and seen, that you're
You know,
speaking yourself, your true self, your authentic voice,
yeah,
right?
and that's the only way I know how. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I don't know how to be anything different. I mean, I'm not one that what I call sophisticated or anything. I'm nowhere near that. So if you're looking for that, this probably isn't the podcast because I mean, I don't care if you are. I mean, that's cool, but I'm just not that way. It's like what you see is what you get. This is
Mm-hmm.
pretty much me,
Yeah. And you're perfect. There
and
is
that
nothing to improve. What who you are right now is perfect, right?
and I
And
figure
it's
if
just,
you can't look at me as I started off, I had a really hard time looking at myself because I have a thing with looking at myself and I don't really do that very well. And now I have to look at myself during the podcast because, looking at you, I'm all looking all over the place, right? So I've had to really work at looking at myself and it's a lot better now, but it took some
yay
time.
you.
It
And we
took
should
some
all
time.
stare in the mirror at ourselves and not flinch.
Right. I mean, it's
That's
been tough.
self-love. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it reveals a lot, and it also shows I love myself enough. It's not the ego that we're taught is bad. I think first of all, selfishness and ego are not necessarily bad words. It's how you do it in an imbalance, because we got to take care of ourselves first. But you
Right.
can't love others if you don't love yourself first.
Yeah.
So being able to stare at yourself and be happy with who you see on the inside and out, that's loving yourself.
It's gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations to you for attaining that.
Well, you know what? The show is all about you guys, though, you know, and I feel like I talked a lot about me today, but you're awesome. You're a very easy person to talk with, and you're wonderful. You're
Oh,
thank
thank
you. Thank you
you.
so much for being on the show. I just really enjoyed you.
I had fun too. So thank you. Thank you for having me on this show. And
Absolutely.
I'm
You
relaxed because you're relaxed. So it's easy for us to talk with each other.
yeah, and it does. It makes it a lot easier. A lot easier. Wow. Anybody out there that has any stories you want to relax and tell your story and tell your experiences with, you know, this is the place. So email me at lighttalk423@gmail.com. And while you're at it, click on the like, share, and subscribe buttons. And we will talk with you later. And thank you so much, Brenda, for being on the show. And we will see everyone next time. Bye.
Bye.